Psychology, overthinking your mind. To be honest, I'm just saying keywords so that you're hooked for today's discussion. Welcome, my name is Jocko Kanchefu, and here we'll talk about what happens after therapy, counselling and treatment. Moreover, that personal development aspect of who you are in relation to your goals. So if you're new here, make sure to press subscribe, and if not, welcome back. Today specifically, we're going to be discussing the psychology of overthinking and how to quiet that mind. But just before that, here we support people who finish therapy, treatment or counselling and would like to find clarity on what happens next, guiding them from uncertainty to confidence. If that's you, why not fill out our self-referral form in the description and one of my team members will reach out to you to embark on that journey. So now, let us begin. Overthinking is a part of human survival. In the past, way back, humans had to evolve from understanding certain berries could kill you and certain berries are good for you. Understanding certain areas, land-wise, are infested with animals that can kill and others can bear fruit and harvest to survive on. This way of evolving has led to where we are today, where we have screens and phones that can produce the same effect of overthinking. So, a comment, a look, a gesture, a certain outfit, a certain word can trigger an overthinking spiral. All in line with surviving, all in line with assuring that you are okay, that you are safe, that you will essentially not perish. So overthinking is a way of acting that stems from wanting to survive, wanting to live on another day and pass on that gene so the offspring can do the same. When we overthink, there's an interplay between rumination of the past and worry of the future, right? When you overthink, it plays on, okay, what happened? What went wrong? What couldn't I do? What didn't I do? What could I have changed? The past. And worry about the future. Is that going to happen again? Is it going to be worse? What am I going to do then? The future. That's rumination. That's worry. How would you say that affects you today? Does it take away from the fact that you're awake? The fact that you're learning to get back on your feet? What does that have an effect on you today? You know, it really makes me think that there's some sort of cognitive bias. In other words, what I mean is the way we think almost coincide with how the overthinking happens. So we can unintentionally or intentionally feed that idea, feed the rumination and the worry, worsening the thoughts or trying to reach a certain level of perfection or pushing the narrative of the fear of regret. Overthinking has its place. Not to say that it is good and it's great, but it has its place in survival. If we were to survive today, what that looks like is making sure you're okay, making sure you're breathing well, making sure you're eating well, making sure you're in a safe environment. The way the world is now is no longer how it was back then. So we have to consciously make that decision. But do you think you can? So let's look further at that. You overthink about the past, about the future, about what's to come, about what's happened, and it leaves you in a tight, almost an anxious space where it's almost crippling. So let's identify that. Let's name the thought. I'm overthinking. Okay, you're overthinking. Okay. Then we're separating it from you and it. It's no longer consuming you, but rather an action that takes place, rather a thing you do just as if you breathe. Naming the thought. I'm overthinking, I'm going down a spiral. We can see it, we can decrease it, and we can stop it by assuring yourself that the opposite. If you're worried about the past is gone. I can't change that, but I can improve in the future. I can do something right tomorrow or today. If you're worried about the future, is understanding that the future is not yet here. All I need to focus on is today and right now. I'm being content with that. Yes, you may say it in a different way, you may think of life in a different way, but if it's along that trajectory, then you're working with yourself. That's all in line with mindfulness. Being mindful of what you're saying, of how you're thinking, of what you're aware of. So actively meditating, not just closing your eyes and breathing in, actively meditating in your steps, actively meditating in your action. It's a different type of meditation. If you want me to make a video on it, just let me know in the comments. Breath work, and ultimately having awareness from the noise. Ultimately seeing that you're not your thoughts, and that means you're not physically spiraling. That means you're not physically in the future. Because you're not there, you realize, okay, where am I? And you're here. You're in this present moment. Bring yourself there. What happens right now? You're breathing. You're stood still, you're stood up, you're sat still. You're in control. So we're really talking about reframing the way we see overthinking, reframing how it affects you and the part it plays in your life. Because what I want to say to you is, you don't need to stop the thoughts. You just need to redirect them. They're looking for you to answer them. If you're worried about the past, what's your answer to that? Oh, it happened. We're moving on. We're okay. We're in a safe space. If you're worried about the future, it's asking for you to answer that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to go well. Reassure yourself, it will. This is a natural process because we don't know what's to come. But not knowing what's to come doesn't mean what is coming is bad. It could be good if you want to see it like that. Redirecting the thoughts, redirecting the energy, redirecting the focus. That ultimately changes everything. Because now your focus isn't on the overthinking, but much rather the balancing of it, the underthinking, just the way of thinking. So my question to you is this something that you could actively do? If you'd like support on that journey, make sure you press the link in the description for the self-referral form where one of my team members will reach out to you and embark on that journey with you. And also, don't forget to press subscribe. My name is Jocko Kanchefu. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion and I hope it helped you see a different perspective on overthinking. My name is Jocko Kanchefu once more. Have a good day, morning, night or evening for wherever you're in the world watching this. And I'll see you next week for our next discussion.